When I was in class KG, so I think I would be like 5 or 6 years old, and by then I had solved maths for class 8. Generally, you do not see that happening around, and for me, it was not a moment of my pride. Rather, it got a question for me: where is this knowledge coming from? I think I remember in my class 10th, around that time, there was a friend of mine. She was the one who introduced me to tarot, what tarot was, but I never knew that I would land up doing that. Though the funny part here is, all the gurus that I used to go to, and they were like, you're going to start a profession. Nahi, this is my hobby. ये professional क्या चीज़ है? I will not do this professionally. Wouldn't the life become pretty easy and pretty much better for people? And that's what I want to bring in people's life. So for that, I started the Reset program. My Reset program is designed for entrepreneurs who are slogging their life day in, day out, and yet after doing everything, giving their 100%, still feeling that their life is not feeling as successful as they would want. And I come and tell you that you have the power to improve it. You have a power to reduce the troubles. So my formula of success, if I would put it, is the 5 things: your career, your wealth, relationship, health, and your relationship to your own self. Hey there, welcome to the Transformation Table. I am so grateful you are here. This first episode is really special because today I'm not just your host, I'm your guest too. We're going to talk about how it all began, my story, the journey of AskDishaa, and what it truly means to reset your life.
Hi everyone, I'm Ambika and I'll be your curious companion on this journey. I'll be the one asking all the questions, some you have been wondering about, and some you didn't even know you needed answers to. My job is to keep things interesting, real, and super informative. I truly hope I ask the right questions to bring you the best out of each episode. Let's dive in. Let's start from the beginning. Where did you grow up?
So I've grown up in Chandigarh. I was born in Chandigarh, got married in Chandigarh. Just for my MBA, I went to Noida where I did my MBA. And then I stayed there. I joined the banking industry. So for that 5, 6 years of my life, I was there. Otherwise, totally a Chandigarh person.
Great. So, how would you describe your childhood?
As a child, I think I had a very normal childhood. I was the only child, so I was like pampered big time, and I was a very naughty child. And it was difficult, I guess, to have a naughty child who doesn't listen, who needs discipline every few minutes, and for every second thing, then I was being disciplined because I had a mind of my own and I wanted to do things the way I wanted to. I think that still is there. I am still the same person who wants to do things my own way. So I think that I still carry from my childhood.
That's really nice to hear. Uh, was there any sense of curiosity about the unknown since childhood, or it came in later stage of time?
Okay, so here I would like to share an experience that I had as a child. So it is nothing mystical, but as you know, my mother was a teacher. So what happened was I used to follow her wherever. So whenever she was teaching, I was around. Something very unusual that happened that I faced at that time was when I was in class KG. So I think I would be like 5 or 6 years old, and by then I had solved maths for class 8. And that was something very unusual because generally you do not see that happening around. And for
Right.
me, it was not a moment of my pride or it did not bring in some uh, proud moment that, see, I can do this. Rather, it got a question for me: where is this knowledge coming from? So this question lingered on for me from a very long time. So this is something that I saw was there, and along with this, so this was one part, and I was a born artist also. So I did not have any formal training there again, and it was something that I was born with. I was doing watercolors, pencils, sketches from a very young age, and the kind of quality that I was coming out in my sketches was not a child's work. So there again, I saw something very unusual happening. So these things, generally we see this nowadays also when we see all these talent shows. They are like kids, 5 years old, 6 years old, born with so much talent.
Right.
That time we did not have that television to see it's a normal thing. So for me, it was something very unusual. And that got me to think, where is this knowledge coming from? So I guess that was the start for me to believe in afterlife, believe that something I'm carrying from other birth, this knowledge which was not for this life, but coming from some other life. So that was my first time experience from within that, there is something beyond what we are living at present. And I think that's where my quest started.
Nice. That's really nice. As you just mentioned, that you have always had that question in your mind since childhood. So when was the time you got answer for that, or maybe you got formally trained for that?
All right. So actually, I think it came pretty later in my life. Little bit episodes have been there. I would not say anything unusual though, but yes, I was keen into, wanting to know all these things. Plus, in my family, I'd seen my grandmother going to pandits, kundlis. So all this thing I saw when I was growing up. So all these things were pretty normal for me, nothing
Right.
unusual there. And as I told you, I had this knack for numbers. So I started reading a lot of books regarding numbers. And I think that's when my first book of what numerology is, I must have come across around that time. So I cannot actually pinpoint which age it was, but somewhere around, I think 10 or 11 it would be. And that's when I started understanding personalities based on your date of birth. So I did not go much deep, but it was a very on the surface, I would say, just as fun that you would do. And then I think I remember in my class 10th, around that time, there was a friend of mine who bought her first tarot sets. So she was the one who introduced me to tarot, what tarot was. And I got inquisitive about it from there, but I never knew that I would land up doing that. That happened again pretty late. But around that time, I started, जैसे होता है कि हम खेलते हुए बच्चों बच्चों में ही हम लोग ना enjoy करते that pendulum सा बना लेते हैं हम ring in that
Right.
hair and those things. So those were pretty much a normal part in my childhood. Looking at the hand of your friends and predicting things, and those things started coming true. So how it started, just fun base, and then वो fun level से कब थोड़ा सा serious turn ले लिया, even I did not realize. But then because I have a very logical mind, I was like, काम करना है. Numbers में I was good at it, so I thought, get into finance. So accounting करी, BCom किया, MBA किया. So that was my journey. And then I joined banking industry as an investment banker. But as a hobby, through and through, बीच में, I started, I bought my own tarot deck. वो किया, थोड़ा सा फ्री टाइम में कुछ ना कुछ पढ़ लिया, फ्रेंड्स के लिए प्रेडिक्शंस करनी शुरू करी. एंड देन धीरे धीरे ऑब्वियसली जैसे चीजें इंप्रूव होती रही, लाइक रीडिंग्स बेटर होती रही, सो इंटरेस्ट बनता रहा. एंड सो कुछ फॉर्मल ट्रेनिंग तब तक नहीं थी बिल्कुल भी.
Okay.
And I started with my professional journey as a banker, and then I got married, came back to Chandigarh. So when I was in Chandigarh, यहाँ पे I did not enjoy working in the banking, and I think that's when my actual calling started.
Right.
So I had more time at hand to get into what interested me. And then I started with the formal training. I joined the 3-year course for astrology. I took numerology classes, I took astrology classes, did a lot of meditation, became a Reiki grand healer. And I think ये सारी जो journey थी ना, within 1 year, it just started कि let's do it. And how it became serious, where by the end of that year, I was doing so many things. हम EFT की बात करें, hypnosis की बात करें, colors, chakras, all these became a part of my life. How did that happen? It was pretty gradual but sudden also. Within that 1 and 2 years span, it came in, with a big wave inside my life. So that's how it happened. Not planned, but because I think there was a calling, there was something which was calling me, and it got me introduced to this. Though the funny part here is, all the gurus that I, used to go to, my teachers, and they were like, "You're going to start it professionally." And I was hell bent. Nahi, nahi, this is my hobby. ये professional क्या चीज़ है? I will not do this professionally. It's just because I'm interested in it.
Right.
So I'm doing it. But I guess they knew much better than what I knew at that point in time, and they could see what I could not see. And today, here I am, 16 years from there, doing it professionally, helping people, and using this to understand life much better.
As you just mentioned that you have got 16 plus years of experience in occult sciences, how would you describe it?
Okay. That will take a minute for me to actually think, because I think I've just been going on and on. I've never taken a moment to think about it. But if I have to sum it up, those 16 years, they've taught me a lot. And see, as I told you, I started with tarot, numerology, little bit of things, and I was never intending to do it professionally. So when my professional journey started, and the kind of questions that I used to, uh, handle at that point in time, they were very different. Something which opened my perspective towards world, towards people, where somehow I realized, something that is very important when you are in this field is you cannot judge people. You have to leave judgment outside. Rather, it has to go outside you yourself. Because if you're judging people, you will never be able to give them the right guidance. Because that's the whole point. You are a channel, you are not guiding them. It's a divine guiding them through you, right? So when you are becoming a channel, you need to be pure. You cannot have your own filtered versions of things. You cannot predict, or you cannot guide them with your opinions, with your judgments, tampering the
Blinding the actual
blinding.
evidence.
Yes. So when the message gets impacted by your opinions, then you're never doing the right reading. So on this journey, if I would say, the most important learning was that there's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. It's just our perspective. So we are looking at the world from our perspective. I am looking at things because the way I am seeing it. So my blue does not necessarily be your blue. It can be red for you, it can be blue for me. So it's just because I am coming from my set of experiences, my set of childhood education, everything forms us. So from that becomes our perspective. Now, my perspective is not your perspective. So when a person is coming to me with their problems, with their side of experiences, initially it was a little difficult for me to understand that. But I think that's what happened. That's the change that happened in the 16 years, where I can see things from their perspective. I can understand that my right is here, but then I have to step into their shoes to understand their situation. And that's how I can actually guide them, because I am being unfiltered. I'm not putting my colors in the guidance that I'm giving him or the client that I'm talking to. So I would say 16 years, the journey has been very vast. It has opened my views, my eyes to lot many things which I was not expecting. And at the same time, I would say it has made me understand human behavior a lot better. It has made me understand the kind of struggles that we are facing. In fact, if I would sum it down, there are just very few struggles that we are all, surrounded with. There are certain lessons that we are surrounded with. So everybody is definitely having a different angle to it, but more or less, it's either our career, it's relationships, health, or something related to our own self. So these are the things that keep us all worried. All the worries are around this.
Right.
It's just different versions because they're different people. So this is how I have started to see life, and I think that's what the 16 years has, brought the change in me.
Nice. That's really good to hear. Uh, Recently, you mentioned something about your transformation program.
Mhm.
So it got me actually curious about it. So would you like to share anything about it?
Definitely. Actually, I would love to share something about it, because that is a thing that, has come out of the 16 years of experience of mine. And so, as I told you, I had been doing consultations, and I was also teaching tarot and numerology for almost like 10 years plus now. So, what did I realize during this journey? When somebody comes to me for a consultation, I would give them a consultation, but then whether they follow it through or not is something which I don't have a control over. And even if they want to, at times they would do it for a few days and then it fizzles away. The consultation goes, take a back seat, life takes the front seat, and you forget everything.
Right.
So, you're not actually changing things that need to be changed. And when I was teaching the courses, I could see how the things that were being taught to my students, and how when they implemented, they were actually, being able to bring a good change, because they were understanding things. It was a longer duration, because courses take a longer duration. And the change that was happening in my students in comparison to the clients was very different, because clients, the change was very temporary. Definitely, they used to make certain efforts which stayed for long, but not for everyone.
Right.
And when it came to students, the changes were permanent, pretty prominent. And why was that happening? Because they were spending more time in it. They were understanding it at a deeper level. After seeing this, it got me thinking, what is it that I can do? Where and how can I bring that, create a program where we can have long lasting results and somebody can actually improve, because I have seen that change. I have seen how this can benefit. So I have applied numerology in my life. I have applied astrology in my life. I take guidance off and on from tarot, and I have overcome lot many things in my life. The lessons that I'm here, I understand it much better. And I would love to share that with people. So if people can understand what their life's purpose is, what lessons they are here to learn, what are the strengths they are bringing in, and how best to use those, wouldn't the life become pretty easy and pretty much better for people? And that's what I want to bring in people's life. So for that, I started the Reset program. So it's a 4 months journey where it is a very customized plan. It is not a group session, or it's a very one-on-one person where a person can open up with their problems. And as I said, no judgment there.
Yeah.
And when we are able to, unfold the problems that a person is facing, that is when we are able to actually heal those things. So either it can be a childhood problem, some traumas, some childhood memories, some issues. What is it that a person is feeling stuck in? What is it that is keeping a person from living their full-fledged life, living 100% complete life,
Up
wholesome
to their full
life?
potential.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we try to figure that out, and then we take those things out. We heal those things. Certain habits that need changing, we are able to change those using lot many methods. Obviously, the guidance of occult is always there, like tarot, astrology, numerology, and we take a deep dive into these things to understand a person's life. And then we talk about things which have the habits that have been formed which needs changing, or why there are certain self-sabotaging things that a person is going through, they don't even realize. So we work on those things with meditation, with EFT, Reiki healing, colors, chakra. So I use all these things depending on what a person needs. And then, as I said, it's a 4 month journey, so we work on all aspects. And by the end of 4 months, there is a complete transformation that we see in a person's life. They're able to live a much better, full fledged life. A person is feeling more successful in their life. The person is feeling more in tuned, aligned to their life. And then we see them living a life full of purpose.
As you mentioned about few problems in your last answer, so are you tackling with those problems in your research program?
So, my reset program is designed for entrepreneurs who are slogging their life day in, day out. And yet, after doing everything, giving their 100%, still feeling that their life is not feeling as successful as they would want. In the reset program, I would say we have 5 legs. All right. So, what we are working towards and the things that we'll be paying attention to is the person's career, investments, the wealth, money part, finances. That is the second thing that we'll be taking care of. Then we talk about relationships. Relationships are a very important integral part of anyone's life.
True.
But I think we land up missing onto those when we are, in that hustle of working, moving forward. Relationships tend to take a back. So after career, finances, relationship, what do we see? Health. Health is another important aspect. So when you're working, you're busy giving yourself to other people, your health takes a big toll. Either it is because of the stress, either it can be because of some other issues that you would, your lifestyle can be a problem. So we would fix that also. We will be covering all these four. And the most important thing that we cover in the reset program is your relationship to your own self. So, how I say it, when you are trying to hold this cup, what is the most integral part here? It's your thumb.
Right.
Without your thumb, you can't actually, hold the cup, right?
Right.
It'll fall off. So your relationship to self is the most important thing. When we cover these things along with our relationship to our own self, that is when we would actually see a successful life. So my formula of success, if I would put it, is the 5 things: your career, your wealth, relationship, health, and your relationship to your own self. So these are the 5 things that we cater to in the reset program. So now, based on the success formula that I have shared, so what do we see? The people, they are working, all these entrepreneurs, CFOs, CEOs, they have such stressful jobs. It takes a toll not only on their health, but their relationships. And when we talk about relationships, it's not just their relationships at home, it's also their relationship with their colleagues. Because whether we want to accept it or not, but the maximum time we are spending is with our work, right? It's the colleagues. So there, the relationship, if that's stressful, that also impacts our health. And then in the end, what are you earning for? If you are just spending and you don't know where to spend, either you land up spending too much and then your bank balance still stays the same, and or it would be that you're saving too much and you feeling your life is too dull. So people generally do not know the ratio they need to, how to balance this. So that's the life that we aim to build by the end of the reset program.
So what is name numerology? I've seen a lot many people, changing your name or maybe adding some additional alphabets in their name. Does it really work? Or is it just a show off maybe kind of thing?
All right, so I think that is something जो बहुत लोगों को बिलीफ है भी और बहुतों को नहीं भी, and they feel, it's क्या है, just name बदल लिया, ऐसे थोड़ी life बदल जाती है. But here I would just ask you a question. अगर आपकी life जैसे चल रही है, and I come and tell you that you have the power to improve it, you have a power to reduce the troubles, increase the good luck, would you want that or not?
Definitely.
Definitely, right? So न्यूमरोलॉजी की सबसे ब्यूटीफुल चीज ही ये है कि हम उससे अपना जो नेम चेंज करते हैं, विच हैज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक, इफ आई वुड से आउट ऑफ 100, अगर हमारी लाइफ 100 की है, तो 20 to 30% इज आर नेम की वाइब्रेशन, राइट? सो अगर मेरी नेम की वाइब्रेशन इज गुड, then definitely it will have a good impact. And that is all that matters, right? आपकी जब वाइब्रेशन अच्छी है, आपका गुड लक अच्छा हो रहा है, चीजें बेटर हो रही है, स्मूथ हो रही है, आपकी लाइफ अच्छी हो रही है, so why not use the tool which God has given us? So this is a tool which is available to all. Not everybody uses it, yes, but it works wonderfully. In fact, if you would see my name, I have double H.
Right.
And when I talk about AskDishaa, it has a double A, right?
Yeah.
So that is something, because I've seen the vibrations, the way they've worked. और मैंने बहुत experiment किया in the last 16 years on so many people, we worked with. कितनी consultations में we have changed the name and we have seen beautiful results there. So जब आप result देखते हो ना, that is when you know कि ये करना चाहिए. And see, I have made mistakes also. अब जाके ठीक है, I know how which number should be the total on. But earlier in my career, definitely there've been mistakes that I've made. We've learned over with experience that not every number suits everyone. So based on that, we've seen the vibration कि vibration खराब हुए तो क्या impact आता है, और उसको अगर हम ठीक करते हैं तो क्या impact आता है. I have seen both the things happen in the last 16 years. And
so is it about how it is pronounced after that? Or is it about just changing the name only?
So both things are important. The pronunciation also is important, and at the same time, the spellings are important. When we change a name, we definitely do see कि pronunciation में कितना change आ रहा है, because अगर वो vibration नहीं आ रही है आपकी pronunciation में, then impact उतना नहीं रहेगा. Definitely जब आप लिख रहे हो उसको, उस चीज का impact है. So let's put it 50-50 here. आपका लिखने का भी इम्पैक्ट रहता है, बोलने का भी इम्पैक्ट रहता है. दोनों चीजें अगर हम कर सकते हैं, then we get a full-fledged 100% impact.
Nice. This was about name numerology. What is tarot all about?
Okay, so tarot is very different from numerology. In numerology, what is it that we see? We are born with the date of birth. तो हमारे पास वो एक date of birth है. The day I've been born, मेरे पास date of birth है. The day you are born, you've given a date of birth, right? तो हमारा कुछ लक हमारी date of birth से रहता है. That is numerology, understanding the signs of the date that you were born on. तो वो आपकी लाइफ में क्या इम्पैक्ट कर रही है. नाउ व्हेन वी कम टू टैरो, टैरो हैज नथिंग टू डू विद योर डेट ऑफ बर्थ. नाउ मे बी व्हेन यू वर बोर्न, आपकी डेट ऑफ बर्थ किसी ने रजिस्टर नहीं करी, तो इसका क्या मतलब है कि हम आपकी कभी कोई गाइडेंस ही नहीं कर पाएंगे. वी कैन नॉट, आपके पास वो साइंस का एक्सेस ही नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. सो देयर आर डिफरेंट साइंसेस फॉर दैट. न्यूमरोलॉजी डेफिनेटली हम नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज यू डोंट नो योर डेट ऑफ बर्थ. सिमिलरली एस्ट्रोलॉजी में आपको टाइम और प्लेस भी पता होनी चाहिए, तो उतनी एक्यूरेसी नहीं है, तो हम आपका एस्ट्रोलॉजिकल चार्ट नहीं बना सकते. But then there are other sciences that can be used इन सब situations को deal करने के लिए. So if you come to me and say I don't have my date of birth, but I have these queries, I need guidance on this, that is when tarot comes in. So those 78 cards are used to seek guidance, to seek predictions, to see how you can, move forward in your life. And that's the beauty. आपको कोई date of birth नहीं चाहिए उसके अंदर. But then there are other sciences too. It's not just tarot. It's also palmistry. Palmistry में you have the lines on your hand, right? Similarly, there are other sciences that you resort to if you don't have your date of birth. And tarot works beautifully for that. And if I would say, like, I think we were just discussing it, Abhi, that how do I do my consultations? And I told you I use all the three things. I use tarot, I use astrology, I use numerology. And the reason behind that, for me particularly, I'm not saying that this is how it works for everyone. It's just that it works like that for me because I am comfortable with that. So I use astrology to get a basic idea of a person's life. Because in astrology, what happens, we can see a complete chart about which unfolds a person's life journey, what they are born with, the lessons they are born with, and we get a beautiful idea about how their life is going to be. So we get a good picture, overall picture, which we can we can zoom in as much as we want into that. And then numerology gives us an idea about what the person's nature is, what a person's opinion is, because a lot many things are dependent just जो कि आप बहुत easily कर सकते हो, जहाँ पे astrology के अंदर आपको जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, सिर्फ numerology के साथ आप देख सकते हो. And then for me particularly, I use a lot of remedies जब हम numerology की करते हैं. Astrology remedies are also very effective, but certain times I see that numerology remedies are much more stronger also. So here comes a point when I have seen your astrology chart, I know your numbers, wo calculations I do it beforehand. During the consultation, what I do is tarot reading. That's when we will take out a deck, we'll take out the cards for your questions, for each and every query that you have. Maybe, मेरे लिए ये better है या वो better है. There are options. So I find it much more easier, and maybe that's what works for me is tarot for such things. So we get an idea about your life with astrology, numerology, and your questions, your queries. That's where I bring in tarot.
Wonderful.